shit.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Great. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started?
Yeah, I'm super excited. Do I have to talk into this? Doo-doo. It's gone. It's on. It's good. Okay. Hello, everybody. Everyone's so sprightly. Did anyone go to the Unity party last night? Yeah, just you. Everyone else is like, no, we're fine. We've been up since 7 a.m. Yeah. No, thank you all for joining us for this. We're all so excited about the Universal GameDev Challenge. So really what we're doing today is we really want to empower you to, you can ask questions, we'll tell you whatever you need to know. You know, we want this as much as you do. We want to enable your success in this, and this is why we're all here. So it's going to be pretty loosey-goosey format, just kind of, we're going to go through the main beats, everything that you need to know, and then we'll get started with some like FAQs, and then we have our wonderful representatives at the front here who will be introduced momentarily. So let's have a little recap of why we're all here, if my slide deck works. Technical, oh my goodness, what's happened? Here we go. Eek.
Oh, do we have sound? Do we have sound?
It's not even going full screen either. Shall we start? Let's go from the beginning for full effect. There we go. Oh my goodness, what's going on? The morning after the night before.
All right. We got a little bit of excitement here. Everybody can start waking up a little bit.
So before we get into sort of the basics of the competition, what you need to know, let's introduce everyone here who's here to help. So you know all our faces, you can come to us, you can ask us questions. So Lydia and I are here from Unity. So I'm an evangelist here. I actively engage with the game development community, sort of like the front line between Unity and the development community. It's a super great job, and so, you know, I'm really happy to be part of this.
Yeah, so I'm on the partner marketing team, so I've been working really hard to try and bring together some really awesome partners so we can make this contest as big as possible for you guys. And we're really, really proud and excited to introduce our friends at Intel, Microsoft, and Universal, who all came together to bring this awesome contest to the community.
Yes. So if we could just go down the front and introduce you all, if we've got a microphone.
So let's go from, so we'll start here.
Yeah. Let's do that. And can we know what your favorite IP is?
Favorite what?
Favorite one of the IPs
Oh, the
that's...
IPs. G'day, I'm Andrew Parsons. I'm from Microsoft. I run the story and voice team. That means we tell the story of development to you guys, and we bring the voice that you guys have back into the company so that the engineering team can actually make the right stuff for you. Super excited about this stuff. I love game contests, particularly for indie devs, and we just wrapped up another one. Thanks, Liz was one of my partners in that. But this one, you know, we just re-released Turok on the Xbox, and that's the one I'm really interested in seeing what other devs could do with that same IP. So yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm Gary Lokum, so I'm VP of Business Development for Universal. So basically, I bring our entertainment content to games across all viable platforms. You know, it's like picking my favorite, probably is like picking my favorite child. Publicly, I might not say what it is, but you know, we're really excited to have put this together with these great partners and look forward to just great things, especially for Turok as well.
Yeah, so I'm David Fortner. I manage Intel's game developer program, and we're excited to be a part of the contest. I mean, we want the PC gaming industry to thrive, and Intel wants to be a part of this to help bring new games to the market. Our game dev program helps you with tools, and I think Steve will tell you a little bit about some of the tools that we have to help, and then we also have all kinds of great, consumer and marketing channels that we can help you get awareness to your game.
Okay, cheers. Hi everybody. So I'm Steve Hughes. I'm what we call a developer relations engineer. Okay, so if you may be unfortunate enough to have seen me talking at or speaking at various events over the last kind of 10 years or so. My area of focus is making games perform well. Okay, so I can't stress enough that there's fantastic IP, fantastic support, but what's really important is the game is playable. Yeah, yeah. Everybody agrees to that. Yeah. I know it's hey, right.
Does it boot?
Yeah. So a moot point for the marketing people, but for the game developers, it's the really central core point. Yeah. So if you got any questions about how to kind of get your game performing on PC, on Unity, say hi and ask the question. Yeah. Okay. That's me.
Great. So we actually have a little bit more detail about what each partner is bringing to this contest.
Yes.
We want to move on to the next slide.
Yeah, sure. So just a recap of the key points in general before we get on to the awesome Intel Developer Program and what Microsoft are bringing to this competition to this challenge. So it's open now. Who has ideas already?
Yes, good to see. Yes.
Matt, you can't get involved. So by the end of this session, you will be leaving here with so much information that you'll be like, I have these ideas, it's going to be amazing. It's open now, and the first round is until April 19th. So what we are looking for is a games design document and a pitch video, a 2-minute pitch video. So that's round one. From there, the judges will take 6 finalists who will go through to round 2, where you have the awesome opportunity to create a vertical slice of that game, and also have an amazing mentoring. You'll have an opportunity to go to a mentoring summit where all of the brains of Intel, Universal, Microsoft, Unity will be there to offer you advice. It's what money can't buy. It's that bridge to industry. It's just awesome. I'm excited. Can Unity staff enter? Can I do?
Really excited. Unfortunately, no. Unity staff can't enter.
It's on. And then from there, a winner will be chosen who has that opportunity to have a contract with Universal and win the prize money. So it's the biggest competition that Unity have ever done, right? In terms of...
Yeah. This is actually, and part of that is a huge thanks, of course, to our fantastic partners at Intel and Microsoft for contributing to the awesome prize pool that we have.
It's incredible.
I think this is the largest contest, prize-wise anyways, that Unity has ever done.
It's exciting. So, the judges as well. Oh gosh, so we've got some super cool judges. So, none of the judges are here today, am I right?
That's correct.
Right, none of the judges are here today. But it's cool to know who's going to be behind. So you know what your deliverables are going to be, but it's nice to know who's behind the judging panel. I mean, we have Bob Gale, who worked on the Back to the Future films. If you're doing Back to the Future as your IP, it's pretty exciting. Kate Edwards, absolutely love her. She was the former executive director of IGDA and also an amazing cosplayer. If you see her around, ask her about that. She's immense. Dean Takahashi, games journalist, amazing insight into the industry. And then Laurent Montgomery, who is the showrunner for Voltron, which is super excited. So really good round of judges. And I think what's exciting as well is that everybody has a favorite of the IP. And everyone maybe has a bit of nostalgia to them, maybe. So I think
Voltron.
Everyone's bringing something to it. Everyone will have a favorite and a slant and an idea. It's so exciting. I'm so excited. Anyway,
So what's your favorite IP?
Jaws.
Yeah, that was
Jaws,
quick.
Jaws. Definitely. I have 3 Jaws t-shirts at home that I wish I'd brought with me. But I have ideas as well. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Enough about me. So, David, maybe you'd like to take the podium.
Yeah, so this is just kind of a quick overview of Intel's developer program, and we like to use the slogan, get ready, get noticed, get big. And so we have different, he's too big. So yeah, we have resources, tools to help you get your game ready to be played, and that's where what Steve was talking about, kind of some of that technical support to get you going. Then Get Noticed is more of kind of our marketing channels and our reach with OEMs and partnerships with people like Green Man Gaming. And then if we feel like your game has really got some legs, then we'll get behind you and help you get big. So that's the idea behind the dev program.
So,
yeah,
sorry.
We were really excited to have Intel bring this program into this contest because this is all about how you bridge that gap between that super ultra professional level, using these professional brands, and then getting big. So it's all about elevating that indie experience and bringing it all the way through to the end.
And
Exactly.
will this be, the winner is automatically submitted into the developer program, or?
No,
How
our
does
program is open for everybody, so it's not,
Ah.
this is
How's it
something
not-
that is helpful for the developer. What we're asking is the people when they submit, developers when they submit through our testing program so that they get Plays Great on Intel certified, which basically allows your game to be certified across the broadest platform or, strata of platform from lower end to higher end graphics and
Awesome.
CPU.
Yeah, because this is a PC development contest, we're really excited to bring these resources to you guys so that you can take as much advantage as possible as to what all of our awesome partners are offering. So we're really just excited for mentoring, bringing through that whole process. Join this program, get certified, it'll only help you. And all of our contestants, of course, are getting special attention from all of these partners. And so now is a really great chance to take advantage of these opportunities.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, also, Windows 10. So, Andrew, maybe you'd like to tell us about all these amazing Microsoft features.
Can I stay seated so everyone can see the screen? You can see me over there? Okay, cool. So, I was a developer for 20 years before I went to the dark side of marketing, and I wish I had some of these tools at my disposal. Like game development back in those days was hard, right? So now what we've got is we've got a fantastic sort of ecosystem for a developer to work in the Windows platform, from anything from DirectX, which has really grown up. DirectX 12 now in Windows 10 is even more performant than you can imagine. But more than that, we have these tools and we have these abilities to be able to take your game to the next level or add things and enhance your game in really creative ways. So, for example, Azure, being able to extend your game to the cloud and be able to offload a lot of processing to the cloud is really fantastic. And it allows you to do things like we were looking at some games, Liz and I were looking at some games just the other day, where they were procedurally generating entire galaxies in the cloud. Like that's pretty amazing, right? So it gives you that ability to really expand out and scale out. But then you can do things like, I know we don't have it on the screen, Xbox Live Creators Program, where you can actually implement Xbox Live for free in your game and really expand out and connect to a whole bunch of different gamers out there. And then Mixer, one of the things I love talking about Mixer is it's more than just a streaming platform. I love the fact that they call themselves interactive streaming because Mixer has this bunch of APIs that allows you as a game developer to let the watchers actually start interacting with your game and the gamers and the players. Like, you can do Hunger Games for real in a game, and I just love that ability, and I love that it's actually taken a traditional game and this new sort of relatively new sort of stream of streaming to a different level and allow developers to really explore creativity in a different way. So there's a spectrum of things there. There's more than what's just on the screen. But we have a full spectrum. We have a game development guide to allow people to jump in wherever they are, from prototyping all the way through to post-publishing with analytics and all that kind of stuff. And so the fact that we have this partnership with Unity, Intel, and NBC is fantastic because it just shows shows indie devs that the industry is really wanting to see those next big things. So that's something I'm excited about.
And definitely part of elevating your game development efforts to that next level is sharing it with as wide an audience as possible. So you have something like Mixer where you can get that first touch influence with your gamer community that's developing around your game. Just only helps to further elevate the brand that you develop.
And if you want some examples of games, like what Andrew's just mentioned, so Stellar Conquest is the game that has been procedurally generating sort of Universi? So Stellar Conquest is a good one to look out for, to look up. And then Hyper Sentinel is a great example of using Mixer. That was really good fun. The Mixer team showed us that earlier this week. So that if you're sort of thinking, hey, I mean, part of the competition is to incorporate Mixer. If you want to have a look, Hyper Sentinel is a great one to get started. Yes. So yeah, so we have a lot of frequently asked questions, but we wondered if maybe we should open them to the floor first. We might. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So we launched this contest on Monday. And right away, of course, we got folks coming on to Unity Connect, coming into our Universal GameDev Challenge chat channel, and kind of digging in and asking those hard questions. A lot of them I had to ask the lawyers about. You guys are really, really perceptive when it comes to digging out like really, really finite details about how exactly things are going to wind up working out. So one of the questions, of course, that we got is, what happens when I win that grand prize? So the core idea of this contest and why we were excited to bring it to the community was that we really want to just show our love for you guys and bring you guys something amazing. And that end grand prize is that the contract with Universal, the one-year consulting contract. What does that include? A lot of people were saying, does that include developer support? Does that include a new team? Does that include more artwork? Do I get rev share? Because, of course, everybody's idea is going to blow up, get big, get amazing, with Intel's help, of course. And so this was, of course, on the top of everybody's mind. You know, how am I winning all this money, and what's the next step? Well, the reason why we broke this contest into 2 phases is because we really want to foster that development process along the way. And these are some of the best companies that are around to help you do that, starting with Unity, of course, then going through with Microsoft and Intel, and Universal bringing these awesome brands to you. So while we go through this mentorship summit, if you're a finalist of round 1, we are going to then, explore the teams that submit, because a team of any size can submit. So if you are only a single individual, then that would influence what winds up in that final contract if you are the grand prize winner. So even though it seems like, well, how do I get my rev share of my billion-dollar game idea? It's kind of like, well, we'll figure it out along the way, and we'll figure it out together, and we'll help you get there. And either way, Universal is dedicated to making sure that you guys will all have an awesome opportunity. It will be favorable. It will be awesome. So that's kind of like that top-line question that's really hard to answer because we don't know exactly what it is yet, but we're all dedicated to getting you there.
That's exciting.
So that's just to kind of kick it off. Does anybody have any questions for some of our awesome folks here?
Hey.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you guys so much. My main question was, is it platform specific or platform preferred? Like, how would you guys look at a VR, AR submission in terms of the game design document?
That's a really good question. So this is definitely a PC development contest. So you can, of course, have in the back of your mind, oh, of course, this is going to be a huge game, because that's the goal. I want this on everything. But the submission is for PC only. And because we wanted to make this as open as possible, we're not having custom input devices, VR, AR included, because those things kind of will limit the audience size that you guys will have, and will also limit the number of developers that can submit. So that's why we want to focus it on there. But of course, always love the enthusiasm of looking beyond to the next step. So thank you for that question. It's good.
Yeah, quick question about these 5 brands. Like, how close do you need to stay with some of the storylines that were put out there? So like Jaws, for example, do you need to stay with that kind of movie storyline, or can you kind of deviate to kind of a different theme, but using that brand?
Yeah, we'll let Gary here with Universal answer that question.
Yeah, look, I think this is open-ended. People can look at that and kind of reimagine it, in their vision. But, if you are a fan of one of these brands, I think that just naturally you'll try to be authentic as possible, right? Like, you wouldn't have a character doing something that maybe they weren't doing in the movie or acting completely different. So, we're going to leave it up to the community. We're not going to really give those guardrails. But I think at the end of the day, if you're a fan, once again, if you're a fan of the brand, you'll kind of know how to treat those characters appropriately and everything else.
That actually brings up a really good common question that I've also been seeing is, why can't I use actor likeness? So part of elevating that process and giving you guys the opportunity to experience working with licensed brands is that there are a lot of really tricky legal things to take into account. So you're not actually, as part of this contest, allowed to use actor likenesses. Why is that the case? Well, we found out the hard way that SAG is very invested in protecting actors' likenesses. So if we ever were to have Michael J. Fox show up in one of these things, if we ever were to have, James Edward Olmos show up in one of these things for Battlestar Galactica, SAG would immediately jump in, and we'd have to then work through them, ensure that those actors are getting paid, because they're artists themselves, and they need to have their IP of their faces protected. And so that's just one of the challenges, the unique challenges of working with licensed brands. And it's kind of part of that educational process that we want people to have to understand kind of how that works. So that's why if somebody has this awesome Back to the Future game and they're throwing it somebody's direction and saying, hey, I got this great idea, immediately that company that you're pitching to is going to say, oh man, this is going to be, we're not going to be able to do this, it was a great idea, but. So it's really great to actually understand those kind of limitations. The same is true for the music, that Jaws theme. Who doesn't love that Jaws theme? But that music, unfortunately, is also owned by somebody else. So right now, it's just a lot of these concepts, these designs, these worlds, these universes that we're offering. But those like limiting restrictions, while it seems kind of unfair, is actually just part of the process of learning how to kind of elevate that development process to learn how to work professionally in the world.
Are we able to mix IP?
No. Oh. Unfortunately, we cannot mix the IP, even though as exciting as it would be to watch a Cylon punch Jaws in the face, we want to make sure to... Yeah, part of the terms and conditions of the contest that's posted on Unity Connect is that you pick one of the 5 brands.
Yeah, I guess so.
What are developers going to be judged on?
Aha.
That's a great question. We do actually have all of the distinct categories. There is a ranking sheet that all of the judges will wind up working off of. But basically, we're really excited to see the creative use of the brand. There's, of course, going to be some creativity in the gameplay, the narrative design, but creative use of the brand, getting people really excited about how passionate you are about your love of Jaws, your love of Back to the Future, your love of Turok, which I was amazed got the most cheers at our keynote when we announced that brand, is definitely part of it. Another part of it, and it's developer capability. So one of the really awesome things about Unity Connect is that you can create your developer profile there. You can kind of show us in like your resume of your experience, what you've done in the past. You fill out your Unity Connect profile up to 80%. There's a little progress meter on your profile that'll show you, and that's one of the terms of the contest too to submit. So you kind of showing off your developer capability will kind of also help us understand what kind of folks are coming on board in this contest. So those are and also, not to forget, integration of tools. We're really excited to see the interesting ways you guys use Mixer, how you guys take advantage of the Intel Developer Program, how you take advantage of Unity and the latest Unity features. We're coming out with a ton of cool stuff in Unity 2018, and if you're an early adopter, you're on the beta, you want to show that off, we love to see it. So all of that stuff goes towards the final score that the judges will be considering.
And do bear that in mind when you're doing your games design document. If you're working with a version of Unity or wanting to make the most out of those features, put in your document, you're going to stick to that version, you're going to leverage this, leverage that, really do think about that for the sort of future of your development process. I was going to say something about Connect. I forgot what it was. Suspense. So this is the complete entry. So as Lydia said, sort of the games design document, these are the finer details, and also confirmation of developing for Windows 10, the integration of Mixer, and this can all be found on the Unity Connect page, all these finer details, can't it?
Yeah, and what we're trying to see from this pitch video, I know we keep saying that, and if that's a little bit unclear as what that is, imagine somebody trying to do a crowdfunding video. Imagine somebody saying, this is my vision for this latest cool piece of hardware that I want to get funding for. So this is essentially your pitch video to us, to our judges, to understand your passion, your love, your inspiration for using these brands and for game development. So that's kind of what we have in mind. It doesn't have to be anything complicated or complex. It's a 2-minute max video, but any way that you guys want to share that with us, we're just excited to get to know you and get to know that passion. So that's part of that application process as well.
Has anyone here followed any of the other competitions we've had on Unity Connect?
Neon Challenge.
Like the Neon Challenge. And so what we find is a lot of developers like to, so for the first submission, it's the pitch video and the game's design document, but actually through the process, we find a lot of developers will document their journey on Unity Connect. They have videos, they have sort of first proofs of concept. Please do that. It's our community, that's part of the Unity community, isn't it? And we want to see that. And feel free to submit that as part of this. There is sort of an optional appendix if you're sort of this is my game design document, but actually this brings it to life. That is totally allowed. If you get carried away and make an amazing vertical slice of a Jaws game, just submit it. I'll be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually brings up another one of our frequently asked questions is, is my submission public? So I think this is the first contest we're actually holding where all submissions are actually private. And like I was saying before about how to work with licensed brands, this is kind of a part of that as well. So a lot of times developers that Universal might go directly to and say, hey, we want to make a new game with you guys. If it doesn't work out, nobody ever sees it. That's just one of those challenges that people have to deal with when they're working in this professional world and they're working with licensed brands. So those game design docs, those pitch videos, if they include the brands, they can't be shared unless they're a winner. So that's actually kind of one of those education points of bringing it and going through this process, going through this contest. But that being said, all of your game design ideas, all of your gameplay mechanics, all of that belongs to you guys. The only thing that Universal keeps is, of course, their brands, because they're not going to be able to extend a license to use Back to the Future or Battlestar Galactica as part of this contest to share elsewhere. So that's only part of your submission. That remains private. We're the only people that see it, except unless if you win, if you're one of those 6 finalists.
I just wanted to say, you'll see there in the complete entry actually does require Mixer integration, and I did talk about Mixer earlier, but I know that for game developers, a lot of game developers, Mixer might be a new concept, integrating that kind of streaming. And we actually have a couple of really great Mixer representatives here today. So if you have any questions about Mixer, you can check those guys out. And I think you guys have some materials you can hand out as well. So if you're looking for the kinds of things, the kind of functionality or features that you could implement in your game when you're creating that pitch, and you're not 100% sure of what Mixer can do for you, please see Katie or the team to find that out.
Do we have any more questions here? You guys are all super ready to go, huh? Great. Let's check out some more of those frequently asked ones.
What have we got? Can I work with a team of people on my submission?
Great. So another great benefit of Unity Connect is that you can connect with all kinds of other people working in game development. So if you, for example, need to connect with an artist because you're a programmer, we can get that going for you on Unity Connect. So as part of the submission process, when you submit to a contest, you can submit as a team. You can build your team on Unity Connect, and then the team leader that's identified as part of that team interface is the one that technically submits, but everybody who is on your team in Unity Connect gets credit. So companies can do this. If they sign up, they will sign up as a team, then they can go ahead and submit as well. So we need, of course, everybody on those teams that submit also needs to meet the eligibility requirements. So we do have a few limitations on this, like you have to be a legal adult of your country of residence, you have to be a legal resident of your country of residence. There's a few countries that are unfortunately excluded for legal reasons. Again, one of those difficult aspects of working with such a huge contest with such professional brands. So that is kind of the whole package of who actually can enter this contest.
Yep, we've covered this.
Yeah, this is
More than
super
happy to.
exciting. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible. So that game design doc and that pitch video, because it's all aspirational, it's all about that inspiration, that creativity, was kind of that first step, and we wanted to make it as accessible as possible for people to enter. Of course, Unity developers are so practical and pragmatic and raring to go and find that tool so easy to use that a lot of people have said, hey, I want to submit a prototype already. And we're like, okay, well, round one, let's see it. So we have on the submissions project that you can do through Unity Connect, you can put a video of your already created prototype up there. There's nothing stopping you. So even though technically the judging criteria will only count towards the official submission guidelines of that game design doc and the mixer video, being able to see that inspiration, the creative use of the brand, will always help if we get to see any kind of appendix items as well.
Good stuff.
No. Only one submission per person, per team. So like I said, if you are on a team on Unity Connect, the team leader is the one that submits. That whole team only allowed to submit once. Again, I'm talking a lot about Unity Connect because it's such an awesome platform. But on Unity Connect, you can actually start your project. You can record your progress as like a developer diary, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But you don't actually have to submit until the very end. Our deadline is April 19th. So we do experience with our other contests that people wait until the very last minute, until everything is as polished as possible to hit that submit button. And so that's the case. You can create that submission. You can create that draft. You can keep working on it and then hit submit, and then it'll go through into our system as an actual submission. And your progress remains also private along the way.
Yes. Any questions from any of those that we've covered? Don't be shy.
And as a follow-up to that real quick, some questions that have been coming up in chat is, does the idea have to be original? Yes. It's not going to be a game that's already out or a game that you've already published or a project that you've already published on Unity Connect. It does have to be a new idea.
I think I covered this earlier. So terms and condition of the competition is that you use Unity, of course. But yeah, just bear in mind what version of Unity you are going to be using, taking the development forward. Yeah, I think. Does anyone have any more questions on sort of the use of Unity and that kind of thing?
We're super excited for everybody to be using Unity 2017 and above, but if you are locked in and already developing on Unity 5.6, you're not excluded.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is a good. So has everyone got a Connect profile?
Go make one.
Yeah, because I know we keep talking about Connect, but unityconnect.com, great place to get all the information on this. And then there's the lobby as well, so that's where they can ask questions, am I right?
Yeah, actually, we have a specific chat channel just for the Universal GameDev Challenge. So that's moderated by a few folks. We all have some answers there. We all go run to the lawyers as soon as we get something super complicated. We had a few winners of previous Unity contests that were super disappointed they weren't eligible to enter. So yeah, we have this chat channel there. There's an email alias. There's a million ways to get in touch with the Unity team. That's also, again, part of our commitment to the community. We're accessible, we're here. We have everything posted up on the challenge page. Actually, if everybody would like to go through and see how folks can get in touch with Intel,
really
Microsoft for these things, do you guys have an easy place to direct our developers to?
Yeah, I mean, definitely you can reach out to me afterwards, and also just visit the Intel GameDev program and reach out to us there. We have different contacts to reach out to.
Yeah, and identify yourself as a Universal GameDev Challenge contestant.
At Microsoft, we actually have an alias, DBP at Microsoft.com, Dream Build Play. You can send that to that, and any questions about the contest to that, and that'll go to a couple of the guys here, and they'll be able to answer that.
Great, thank you. And our email alias here at Unity is gamesareuniversal@unity3d.com. So feel free to reach out if you have more questions.
Games Are Universal is the Twitter hashtag as well.
That's correct. Yeah, we're super excited to share our love of these universal brands. So when you're sharing information or questions or anything, use that hashtag #GamesAreUniversal, and we'll perk up our ears and notice quicker.
Contact? Yeah, so we're going to set up an email account. So we'll give that information over to Unity, and people can reach out, and then we'll try our best to answer as quickly as possible.
And in the meantime, we're all good friends at this point. We've been working on this contest for a long time. So reach out to one of us. We'll all be able to jump on board and help you guys out.
Oh, and then just one last thing, because my Mixer friends just gave this to me. There's also Mixer Dev Info at Microsoft.com as well. So Mixer Dev for developer info. So.
That's great. And we also made sure to include all of these resources for Intel and Microsoft on the Unity Connect page in the resources section. There's a lot of guides, there's a lot of tutorials, there's a lot of contact information there, right there on the page for you guys.
Yeah, we've done this. There we go. Please visit Unity Connect Challenges and connect at unity3d.com. It's like we preempted it. Yeah. It's like we knew, it's like we made this. And that's the end of our frequently asked questions. So we have representatives from Universal, Microsoft, Intel. Ask them anything at all.
Within reason.
Within reason.
Great. Are you guys all ready to get designing your awesome game project ideas?
Do you feel like you have everything that you need to get started? Anything that you're kind of still unsure about, or?
I just wanted to add one thing. We will actually also be doing on Wednesday, the 28th, next week at 8 p.m. GMT. It'll be 12 o'clock West Coast time. We're going to be doing a live stream on this where we'll also be able to answer questions, and we're going to be showing some stuff related to the challenge. So please join us there as well. That'll be streamed through Unity Connect.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
If you haven't had a chance, please feel free to get some breakfast in the back. We're really excited to wrap up this GDC.
Yeah. And please come and chat to us. You know our faces now.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Thanks.
Thank you. And good luck as well.